Okay, I'm going to do a little demonstration of how I essentially do these. I put 3 coats on, and I'm going to do two squares. So I typically want to identify what I'm working on, so I'll put a dot next to each one. However, that in this case it's really not hard to know what I'm working on. But when you've got a bunch already done, it can get a little bit confusing. So I'm using copper patina, so I'm going to put 3 coats on. And because I'm going to use sponges, I'm able to kind of not be real perfect with the glaze, which this is going to help this piece work a lot faster. A lot of the pieces I do have to be really exact with really exact with the glaze. So there's 1 coat. So I have these cards, 1, 2, 3. So when I move the card to the left, it basically means I completed 1 coat. Now when you're doing 10 pieces and something happens, you kind of want to know where you're at. So I always have some kind of method of control in place, because I don't want, a couple of squares to not get a couple of the sections, not to get the right amount of glaze on it. So normally I would do quite a bit more than this in one run, but just for demonstration's sake, I'm doing it like this. So there's my second coat. So here's my second card. So now I'm going to do my 3rd coat. Sometimes you need to do a few so it dries. Granted, this is a copper patina, a Georgier's copper patina, and this actually dries fairly quickly. The gray is a Laguna gloss black, which is filling the joints. Okay, so there's 3 coats. So I'm done with that part. So I set this to the side. Then I have these little sponges that I use. They're like Q-tips, but they're not Q-tips. It's an actual sponge. It's foam. And I clean the edges off. And I don't want to use it too much, because then you're just moving the glaze around. So I just basically getting the brunt of it off, the glaze. And they're all pretty wet, I soaked them in water before I started. And then if they're not wet enough, I just take my water bottle and spray them. Okay, so that's essentially how I do these.